Hey everyone, Amos here. What I'm going to talk about today is how to make action effortless. Now, I probably make a lot of videos about this, you know, the past few days. Not past few days, past few weeks, but what I'm going to talk about specifically today is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, like if you feel like a specific action is not doable, like you're feeling discouraged because you're not doing as well as how you should be or how you're expecting yourself to be, how do you get to that place of feeling at peace with your actions? How can you navigate the waters if you're not good enough to do something yet? Like, for example, today, when I was intending to approach girls, to get better at talking to girls, going on dates, stuff like that, I was very nervous. I was having what you call, approach anxiety. And this often happens sometimes, but not all the time. But today was especially bad. Like, I even tried complimenting someone, like, hey, that's a very nice dress. I came off really, really nervous. Like, my voice like croaked. My chest felt like really heavy. I couldn't say much. I just sounded pure nervous. That's all. And probably it's not gonna be a good day, cause if I'm already like that nervous talking to someone, how can I expect to talk to someone? How can I expect to like talk to someone properly? It's not really a very nice experience. And back in the days when I used to experience that feeling, I'll be very discouraged. I'll be beating myself up so much, like how for someone who did perform well the previous day or the previous week, and suddenly I'm now inflicted with approach anxiety. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I want to like perform at this level, and now I'm having approach anxiety, which is it's a beginner problem at this level. It's really a bash to my ego. It's like, oh great, like I'm probably not gonna have a good session today, and it's really like ego destructing in a way, and at the same time it's really discouraging because you want to do well today, but you feel off, like you just can't do the work. So what I did, like that's how I felt before. I would beat myself up, like I would force myself to like perform well, I'll force myself to have this perfect conversation with someone with that feeling of anxiety, right? But almost always the conversation will not go well, and I end up beating myself up even more, and the whole day would be a very fucking bad day. I'll feel like total shit after that day because I did not perform as good as what I expected. How do I like But what I did differently today, which is what you guys are going to learn from this video, is somehow about managing expectations, and also how you can minimize like the things that you're doing leading up to the goal that you want to accomplish. So just cracking my back cause it's like quite irritating. But anyways, what I did today is I felt approach anxiety, which is a beginner sticking point for most people. And what I do is I've came to have the experience before, and know that if I don't manage my expectations, I'm gonna beat myself up. It's gonna be a very unsuccessful day. So what I did is I set aside my ego, cause I was like talking to my friends today as well, and he's going through a struggle of feeling discouraged because he's at this level at game, which is like talking to girls, and there's so much things he has to learn in order to get to that level. So what I advise my friend here is to not compare yourself to others. That's number one. And number two is to work at the current level you're at. Like regardless of what level you're at, you have to work at your current level. And that means like for example for him, he's like working on his opener. He's working on opening someone. Like you see a cute girl, you'll be like, excuse me, hi, I thought you looked quite cute and I wanted to say hi. That's an opener. So he's still struggling with that, and there's so many other stuff that he has to learn. Like he has to learn how to make it man to woman. He has to learn how to like evaluate the girl, qualify the girl so that the girl comes chasing to him. He has to learn how to close properly and stuff like that. And it's so much things to synthesize, and he's just feeling discouraged because he's not even good at the open yet. How is he gonna expect to learn all of these things? And my mentor in game taught me that if you're learning something, all right, is there's a whole bunch of information he has taught. The key to mastering game, the key to get better at picking up girls, talking to girls, going on dates with girls, and having awesome relationships, is to do things one step at a time. Like, ignore the 99% of what's being taught and focus on the 1% that you need to work on right now. The main issue that is stopping you from getting good in game. Like, some sticking points for others is approach anxiety. Like, that's what I'm facing today. Other people's sticking point might be, making it man to woman. They are always having this platonic conversation that does not go nowhere. So that might be another issue someone has to work on. Others might be like, learning how to be a bit more polarizing, how to be, more instigating in a way, rather than, putting a girl on a pedestal and, constantly complimenting them. So that's another thing some people might need to work on. So for my case today is approach anxiety. Like, I was feeling really fearful. Although the other days I'm really perfectly fine. I was like really ballsy. My conversations like very smooth. But today was an exception. So what I did was I put aside my ego. All right, I'm gonna accept that today I have approach anxiety. I'm same as every other beginner out there having this problem. So in this day, in this very day, I'm gonna treat myself as a beginner. All right, I'm gonna put my ego aside and treat myself as a beginner again. No matter how good I performed the previous day, I'm gonna be a beginner again. All right, and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do as a beginner, which is number one, work on my approach anxiety, and that means talking to people, opening people, even if it's like a direct opener, a direct compliment to someone, even if it's like too complimentary or whatsoever, all right, even if it does not come perfect. The key here is to overcome the approach anxiety for today. So if I manage to do things, which is going against approach anxiety, which is talking to girls, talking to them, getting myself desensitized, all right, towards talking to girls, that's already an accomplishment for today. Even though if I don't get any numbers, I don't have a full conversation whatsoever, all that matters today is having the balls, being man enough to talk to girls in hard situations, no matter what happens, no matter the outcome. So what I did was, I focused on approach anxiety. I approached girls in difficult sets, approach like a group of 3 girls, a girl in the store, when there's like guys and girls, like a mixed set, in a way. I approached a girl that's already married, for God's sake. But I'm treating myself as a beginner again, alright? I did a lot of hard sets. And the first set, which is a group set, which I did, it didn't really came well. It didn't really gone anywhere. I was like very direct with my intent, because that's what I'm very good at, which is not the best, alright? But given that I've approached it today, I just give myself the freedom, to just focus on tackling that area and just allow myself to do whatever I want. Like, all that matters is just approaching and getting rid of the anxiety for today. And I did it well. Like, I managed to, strike up a lot of conversations with difficult sets. And towards the last few sets of my sessions, I started to get, Instagrams. Like, I mean it's not the best thing, right? Getting Instagram is not really the best thing. Numbers are always better because it's more personal. But at least I got some form of contact, and so I started to get Instagrams, which I did not. I asked for the number, obviously, but say, hey, Instagram. But then I'll just accept the Instagram. But at least, if I was beating myself up today, alright, I'll feel bad, it'll ruin my entire mood, and it wouldn't progress anywhere. And that really sucks, because, most people usually put so much expectations on themselves into doing something that they end up psych themselves out of the thing that you want to do. So what you want to do is you want to baby step things, alright? You want to put your ego aside. Like, if let's say if there's a huge book you want to read, like it's 600 freaking pages, and you know, most people, when they see the volume of pages, they get intimidated and they don't want to read the freaking book at all. They'll just put it aside. No matter how good that book is, they'll just put it aside and not read it. And that's really dumb, because you know, everything great in life, alright? Everything awesome, like rockets, trains, buildings, stuff like that, requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of effort. It requires, you know, a very, like, you know, it requires a lot of effort to actually build it, alright? And if you're always like training yourself to avoid overwhelming big tasks, alright, overwhelming big goals that requires a lot of your effort and energy, you won't get anywhere. Like, you know, think about like how hard it is to build a building. Usually, in order to build a building, you have to lay the foundations, right? You have to lay the foundations, you know, you have to do the piling. And most often, like most of the stuff that the early on, like before the building is actually visible, most of the stuff is actually working at the ground, you know, at the bottom. And not only that, like once you actually build a building, you have to work on, you know, the piping, the sewer system, the electric, you know, you have to like somehow like do the electric and so on. You have to do the interior, you know, the interior design and so on. You have to paint the building. It's so much freaking work. Like, it's exactly like yourself reading a 600-page book. And it's exactly like, you know, working yourself up to being good at talking to very, very hot girls. And it's the same as, you know, building a YouTube channel, having a successful business, and so on. Whatever your goals in life, it requires effort and time. But, you know, most people give up because it's too overwhelming. And it's too much work. Upfront work, they see like, oh my god, there's so much effort. Then they don't do it. Others, it's like, you know, they do it for a while, but they realize that there's actually more work for them to do to get to that level. And then they quit, without ever realizing their full potential, or without ever realizing their goal, which is really sad. So the key here is these two things. Number one is, wherever you are, no matter how good or how bad you are, you have to accept your situation the way it is. Like, if let's see if I can't get 40 kg pull-ups today, alright, because in my workouts I do a lot of weighted chin-ups. If I can't get 40 kg weighted chin-ups today, there's no point like sulking or feeling bad about it. The thing here is you always have to keep moving forward. Like, I may not get 40 kg chin-ups today, but I might get it tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it might be next week. If it's not next week, it might be the following week. You always want to keep going and do not give up. You have to accept your situation as it is right now. And, you know, fully accept that, okay, I'm a beginner today, alright? I have a push anxiety. It's a very, very beginner sticking point. And, you know, the actions that require me to get out of it, it's, you know, far off from how I normally can perform. You have to come from the place of acceptance. Put aside your ego, your pride, your pride on how well you do, and focus on the thing that you have to do right now in this moment. That's step number one. Acceptance. Accepting yourself. Even if you suck right now, or even if you hate yourself right now, you gotta do what's necessary at your current level. And that's why you don't pressure first graders to go to like 6th grade. And that's why, you know, there's a system, you know, there's grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. You don't force someone who's at this level to perform at this level. You'll basically burn him out or intimidate him. And like, you know, if you ever train animals, alright, you don't train them to do extremely freaking difficult tasks, like, you know, overnight. You don't push them to do very hard things. And it's just that as humans, alright, we are more evolved. We have a prefrontal cortex, alright, which allow us to make decisions unlike animals. It makes us, you know, have logic, have memory, smart enough to decide things, to synthesize things. But without that prefrontal cortex, or just like any other animal out there, we have to ease our brains, alright? We have to ease our brains to slowly get into things that are uncomfortable. So, if this is you, you're overwhelmed, alright? Or you're either like expecting yourself to perform a certain way and you aren't, you just gotta accept like, hey, I'm not at this level right now. And sometimes I may need to, you know, take things slow. do things at a beginner level. Then, depending on how far you've progressed, you want to slowly notch things up. Like maybe perhaps the next time when I go out there, I'll feel less nervous. And when that happens, I'll work on other areas. Like, once I get my approach anxiety down, I'm going to focus on, having a bit more man to woman in my conversation. I'm going to focus on not being too complimentary. I'm going to be trying to be more instigating, having more personality in my conversation, having more sass, being more polarizing. I think I already said that, but you get the gist. Then if it's like working out, if I'm someone who's already able to do like 10 kg chin-ups, for example, then I'm going to do 12.5 kg chin-ups. If I can't achieve it that time, that doesn't matter. All that matters is, you keep doing what you're supposed to do, be patient with your progress, and results will eventually come as long as you don't give up. That's number one. Number two is you want to slowly ease your way into things. Like, don't have so much expectations on yourself, right? If let's say if you're supposed to perform at a certain level, right, you gotta be patient with your progress. Sometimes it might take like longer than what you expected, or longer in comparison to someone else, in order to go from this level to this level. For me, like, I've always been labeled as someone who's like very talented in the sense that I can improve at things very fast. Like, I can like pick up things really easily. Like, if there's a job I'm supposed to do, I would normally like exceed expectations very easily. But the thing here is, what people don't understand is because I work extremely hard. Like, given the amount of thinking, effort, mental thought I put into the work, it's like 5 times more than the average person. So in my sense is, given how much energy I'm putting into this work, I should be performing even much higher than what my superiors are expecting myself to perform. But I'm not. I'm actually performing less than what I expect from myself given the amount of effort I'm putting in. So it's always gonna be this. You're always gonna not hit your expectations for the most part, alright? So, there's people saying that you have to achieve high, have high expectation of yourself, raise your standards. The thing here is, I do agree, those are very helpful. But there's always gonna be, situations like where it's not gonna be helpful. If you're gonna ask a depressed person to raise their freaking standards, that's not gonna work very easily for them. The thing that can work is slowly easing themselves through smaller habits, like lowering their expectations that allows them to feel, feel comfortable doing a certain work. Like, you don't need to perform so well. As long as you do it, that matters. Like, that sort of like lowering the expectations, where you can allow yourself to freely do things, and even if you don't hit your standard, alright, you'll feel happy because your expectations are lower. And the thing here is, it's not good in the sense that you won't improve that much, like, very quickly. But the thing here is, it doesn't make you give up so easily. It doesn't make you give up so easily. And the thing you want to balance is, you want to balance having what you want to accomplish, right? And your standards for going about doing the work to get there. So it's like, you don't want to expect yourself to do so little work. And no, you don't want to, expect yourself to do so little work and then expect yourself to, achieve that much. That's a flawed way of thinking. How you want to think is this. Like, you want to achieve this goal, alright? You want to achieve this goal, alright? But at the same time, you know that what you're doing currently won't get you there, alright? But it's a stepping stone, alright? It's a stepping stone to getting you to the ultimate goal. So yeah, at this level, you want to reach this level. What you're doing will not necessarily get you to there, alright? But what you're doing might get you here. And then what you're doing here might be different, so it will get you there. So it's constantly a process of getting better. You want to see things as a process like that, alright? In order to get what you want. So for my case, it's approach anxiety today, alright, when it comes to picking up girls. And then the next session, I will see. Like, if I'm feeling less nervous the next session, I'm at this level, alright? I was this level at today's session. The next session, I might be here. So I'm gonna do the actions that warrants improvement at this level to get to this level, if you get what I mean. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you get immense value from this. Just to recap, alright, so you guys get the full premise of this. Most people, alright, make the mistake, including me, of putting too much expectation on themselves. Like, they expect things to go a certain way, which doesn't. They expect, they like expect themselves, okay, I'm gonna perform at this level today, but when they can't, they get discouraged, they beat themselves up, and it's not really fun, alright, it's not fun to beat yourself up, alright. Then there's other groups of people where they are overwhelmed, like there's just so much things that they need to do to accomplish something, like a 600 pages book, maybe building a rocket. It's too much work and they end up not doing it. So those sort of like flawed way of thinking is, going deep inside of like things, alright? It's going hard at something like, yeah, this level, but you're trying to do things which are like only for advanced people, or you might overwhelm yourself to do too much things too soon, and then you burn out, you don't really love doing the work, and you end up, quitting. So those are really flawed way to think about things. So you want to change your expectations. You gotta accept yourself as you are right now. Accept that you're a beginner at things. You accept that, perhaps maybe I can't do more, perhaps maybe I might not be as disciplined as how I should be, alright? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my up slowly, alright? I'm going to work myself up. If I'm at this level when it comes to discipline, I'm going to do at this level in order to improve my discipline. Like, I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself. I'm going to focus on doing disciplined things in small areas, like, sleeping on time, waking up on time, not putting so much pressure on yourself to do things like crazy so soon, and then, slowly progress things from there. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, click the like button, subscribe for more awesome videos like this. I really love sharing my thoughts on, self-improvement, stuff like that. And, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Peace.